consumes the product or who receives the services is supposed to pay the tax, not the person who manufactures the product or who provide the services. Location of the supplier and the location of supply is in different states, then it will be called as interstate supply and IGST will be applicable. You are importing goods from other country and you are exporting goods to other country, so crossing the borders of two different countries, that is called cross-border transactions. Hello everyone, I am Arun Kumar, lecturer in Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Dear students, welcome to this new session on unit number 5, session 1. The topic is place of supply of goods. Yes, dear students, in this particular session, we are going to learn about what is this place of supply of goods and why it is so much important. So in GST, without knowing the place of supply of goods, you can't impose the tax, because GST is not only the one tax we have. Under GST, we have 4 types of GSTs. Which are those? CGST, SGST, IGST and UTGST. So mainly we have 4 types of taxes. So based upon the place of supply, kind of supply, we are going to impose the tax. So with that intention, the place of supply is going to play a major role in the GST era. So what is this place of supply of goods? So GST is a destination based tax. Yes, GST is a destination based tax. So what is this destination based tax? Destination based tax is nothing but where the goods will be dropped, where the goods will be delivered, that person is supposed to pay the tax to the government. For example, Mr. A and Mr. B. So what Mr. A will do? Mr. A send goods to Mr. B. So now who is receiving the goods? Mr. B receiving the goods, right? Mr. A is selling the goods, Mr. B is receiving the goods. So he sent the goods to Mr. B. So now who is receiving the goods? Mr. B is receiving the goods. So now who is responsible to pay the GST? Mr. B is responsible to pay the GST, right? Mr. B is responsible to pay the GST. So that is why GST is called a destination based tax, because the final user of the product or the final user of the services or both is supposed to liable to pay the tax to the government. So GST is a destination based tax. The goods or services will be taxed at the place where they are consumed and not at the origin. Yes, that means the manufacturer will not pay the tax. Who consumes the products, who receives the services, that person is supposed to pay the tax to the government, right? Who consumes the product or who receives the services is supposed to pay the tax, not the person who manufactures the product or who provide the services. So the state where they are consumed will have the right to collect GST. Yes, the state where they are consumed, the state where they are consumed will have the right to collect GST. That means where the goods is delivered, to which state the goods is delivered, that state will be having the right to collect the GST. Okay, to make you understand better, I'll give an example. So we are in Karnataka and the seller is in Kerala. Okay, we are in Karnataka, seller is in Kerala. So seller is selling the goods from Kerala to Karnataka. Okay, from Kerala to Karnataka. So here, if the goods are sold in Karnataka, the Karnataka have the rights to collect the GST. That means where the goods are consumed, in which place the goods are consumed, in that place, that particular state will be having the right to collect the GST. Therefore, place of supply is crucial under GST, as all the provisions of GST revolve around it. Yes, it is very much important. Place of supply is very much important to determine the type of tax applicable on a particular transaction. So that is why it is very crucial, the place of supply. Okay, deciding the place of supply is very much crucial, because all the factors are depending on place of supply, right? All the factors are depending on place of supply. So place of supply of goods under GST defines whether the transaction will be counted as interstate or interstate, and accordingly levy of CGST, SGST and IGST will be determined. Yes, the place of supply of goods under the GST defines, the place of supply defines whether it's a intrastate supply or interstate supply. That means whether the transaction is happening between the state or within the state. So the place of supply determines you whether it's intrastate supply or interstate supply, as well as it also gives you a hint about what type of tax is applicable, whether CGST is applicable, SGST is applicable or IGST is applicable. So here the place of supply is a very important factor where the tax will be collected in the place where the products are consumed, and by place of supply you will get to know whether it's an intrastate supply or interstate supply, and you will also get to know what kind of GST is applicable, whether CGST, SGST or IGST is applicable. Importance of place of supply. Yes, why it is so important? Why we give more importance to this place of supply? So place of supply is important to determine the kind of tax that is to be levied. Yes, place of supply is very much important to determine, right? To determine what? To determine what type of tax is applicable, because under GST purview we don't have only one type of tax. We have totally 4 types of taxes: CGST, SGST, IGST and UTGST. We have 4 types of taxes. In 4 types of taxes, which tax is applicable? So to know that, this place of supply is very much important. So to determine the type of tax, place of supply is very much important. The IGST is levied in case of interstate supply, whereas CGST and SGST become applicable in case of intrastate supply. Yes, in case if the transaction is interstate supply, that means if the transaction is between 2 states, then IGST is applicable, and if the transaction is within the state, that is within the state, then CGST and SGST is applicable. Whether a supply is interstate or intrastate, it depends upon the location of supplier and the place of supply. Yes, so the interstate supply or intrastate supply, it's based on, it depends on the location of the supplier and the place of supply. That means from where the supplier is supplying and to which place it is supplied. Okay, from where it is supplying, from where the goods is supplying and to which place it is supplied. Like it is supplying from Kerala, to where it is supplied to Karnataka. So like this, based upon the place of supply and the location of the supplier, from which place the supplier is supplying and to which place he is supplying. That is most important. When the location of supplier and the place of supply are in 2 different states, it will be an interstate supply and IGST will be applicable. Yes, if the location of the supplier and the place of supply are in different states, location of the supplier and the location of supply is in different states, then it will be called as interstate supply and IGST will be applicable. But when 2 are in the same state, yes, when the supplier and the supply, the location of the supplier and the place of supply, when both are in the same state, okay, the place of the supplier and the location of the supply, when both are in the same state, at that point of time, it will be considered as intrastate supply and CGST and SGST is applicable, or UTGST is applicable in case of union territory supply. Importance of place of supply. Again, in this chart, you will get to know why it is very much important, why the place of supply is very much important. So, we have different cases: location of supplier, place of supply, whether location of supplier and the place of supply in the same state, and whether intrastate or intrastate. Okay. Now, in case 1, location of supplier, that means as a seller, where he is now? He is in Kerala. So, the location of supplier is in Kerala. Place of supply, to where he is supplying? He is in Kerala. To where he is supplying? He is supplying to Bihar. Okay, he is in Kerala. He is supplying to Bihar. So whether both are in the same state, the supplier as well as the recipient are in the same state? No, they are not in the same state. So what kind of transaction is it? It is a interstate transaction. That is transaction between different two states. So interstate transaction. Type of taxes, IGST is applicable. Next, case 2, supplier is in Puducherry and the place of supply is also Puducherry. He is in Puducherry and is supplying to Puducherry only. So both are in the same state. Am I right? Yes, they are in the same state. So what tax is applicable? Intrastate supply. It is an intrastate supply and CGST and Puducherry GST is applicable. That is CGST and UTGST is applicable. Next, case 3. Chandigarh, the place of supplier, the location of the supplier is Chandigarh. And place of supply, to where he is supplying? He is supplying to Chandigarh only. So both are in the same state, right? Both are in the same state, yes. So what tax is applicable? Yes, it is an intrastate supply. What kind of supply? Intrastate supply. So CGST and UTGST is applicable. Next, he is in Chandigarh and supplying to Punjab. Okay, supplier is in Chandigarh. Place of supply is where? Punjab. So it is not within the state. The transaction is not happening in the same state. It is an interstate supply. So it is an interstate supply. IGST is applicable. Next, Chandigarh to Daman and Diu. He is in Chandigarh supplying to Daman and Diu. So it is not in the same state. The transaction is not happening in the same state, right? It is not happening in the same state. So what kind of transaction? Interstate. What is applicable? IGST is applicable. Next, Goa. Supplier is in Goa and is supplying it to Goa only. He is supplying to Goa only. So now both are in the same state, right? Yes, both are in the same state. So now it is an intrastate supply. That means within the state. Next, Karnataka. Okay, the supplier is in Karnataka and where is supplying? To where is supplying? Again to Karnataka only. Okay, it is a special case. Yes, both are in the same state, but is supplying to SEZ unit. Supplying to SEZ unit. It is a intrastate supply, but no tax is applicable because he is supplying to SEZ unit, that is special economic zone unit. So moving further, cross-border transactions. So what is this cross-border transaction? So in cross-border transactions, place of supply of goods imported into, or exported from cross-border transactions. Yes, cross-border transaction is nothing but if you are importing any goods from other country, to India, or if you are exporting goods from India to other country, that is called cross-border transactions. That is called cross-border transactions. That means you are importing goods from other country and you are exporting goods to other country. So crossing the borders of two different countries. That is called cross-border transactions. Place of supply of goods where goods are imported into or exported from India will be determined in accordance with Section 11 of IGST Act. Yes, the place of supply of goods with respect to imports and exports will be determined under Section 11 of IGST Act of 2017. So import of goods is defined in Section 2 subsection 5 of the IGST Act. So import of goods will be determined under Section 2 subsection 5 of IGST Act, and export of goods is defined in Section 2 subsection 10 of IGST Act. So it must be noted that the payment in convertible foreign exchange is not a criterion for determining import and export of goods. Yes, just because you are exchanging in foreign currency, if the exchange is happening in foreign currency, just because of that we can't consider it as a import or a export. But it is relevant in case of services and transactions involving goods treated as services. Yes, in case if you are providing services and if it is exchanged in foreign currency, then that will be considered as import or export. But with respect to goods, it is not applicable. Another aspect worth nothing is if the goods move from one foreign country to another foreign country without entering into India, it will not be supply in taxable territory even if the supplier is in India. Supplier is in India, but the goods are supplied from different countries to another, like one country to another country, but not to India. You are not importing or you are not exporting, but just you are in India. Like you are exporting from German to USA. So the transaction is happening between other two country territorial borders, but not in India. At that time, we can't consider it as a supply. Next, the place of supply in case involving import and export of goods is determined as per provisions of Section 11 of the IGST Act 2017. So, the imports and exports will be determined as per the rule of Section 11 of the IGST Act 2017. So, here we will get to know how we are going to determine the exports. So, export of goods. So, what is this export of goods? When goods are exported from India, then the place of supply of such shall be location outside India. Yes, that means if you are sending any goods to other country from India, okay, if you are sending any goods from India to other country, then the place of location will be other country only, right? For example, India and USA. You are supplying goods, okay? You are supplying goods to USA. So now what is the location? Place of supply, it is USA. Place of supply is what? USA. So in that way it is explained. So when goods are exported from India, then the place of supply of such goods shall be the location outside India. The place where the goods have been exported. Yes, we are exporting the goods to USA. So USA will be the place of supply. So export means taking goods out of India to place outside India. So export is nothing but what? Export means taking goods out of India to place outside India. That means from India we are exporting to other country. Such export of goods have been treated as interstate supply, but no GST is payable as it's been declared as zero rated supplies. Yes, if the exports are happening, exports are treated as interstate supplies, but there is no GST is applicable as it is treated as zero rated supply. That means zero rate is nothing but no tax is applicable on that particular goods or the supply of goods. So for exports, anyone can export goods from India. So that will be treated as interstate supply and no GST is applicable on exports. Import of goods. Now, import of goods. So, if the goods have been imported into India, that means to inside India, the place of supply of goods is the place where importer is located. Where the importer is located. Again, example. So, from USA, you are purchasing goods to India. Okay. So, now USA is supplying the goods. Who is supplying? USA is supplying the goods to India. So now what is the place of supply? Easy. India, right? Place of supply is India. So if the goods have been imported into India, the place of supply of goods is the place where the importer is located. So now where the importer is located? He is located in India. In this regard, import has been defined as bringing into India from a place outside India. Yes, what we will do in import? We are going to bring the goods from outside India to inside India. It is treated as interstate supplies and it attracts IGST along with custom duties. Yes, here imports will also be treated as interstate supplies and IGST is applicable. Along with IGST, custom duties also applicable. In the case of some products like pan masala, GST compensation cess is also levied. Yes, in case if you are importing pan masala and other products, on those products along with IGST, GST compensation cess is also leviable. So this is about import of goods. So moving to the next, import of goods. So what will be, for what situations we'll call it as import. Okay. So we'll see few cases. We'll see 2 to 3 cases now. So case 1, 2, 3, we have 3 cases. Location of supplier. Okay. Location of supplier, like from where he is supplying. Now place where goods are located before supply. That means before dispatching the goods, where they store the goods, in which place the goods were. Next, place where the goods are supplied. That means to which place the goods are supplied, and location of importer, that means the person who is importing to India, where he is staying, and place of supply. Okay. In case 1, the supplier is in England. Supplier is in England and goods were also in England. Supplier is in England and the goods were also in England, and he supplied the goods to Delhi. Where to supply? He supplied the goods to Delhi, and where the importer is located, he is located in Delhi itself. Okay, he is receiving the goods to Delhi, the goods supplied to Delhi, and the importer is also in Delhi. So now what is the place of supply? Place of supply is Delhi. Easy. He is in England, supplied to Delhi, so Delhi is the place of supply. Finished. Case 2, location of supplier, Haryana. Okay, supplier is in Haryana, he is in India itself, and goods were in USA. Okay. Next, Denmark, place where the goods are supplied. To which place the goods are supplied? The goods are supplied to Denmark. He is in Haryana, goods were in USA, and he supplied goods to Denmark, and the location of importer is Punjab. The person who is importing, he is in Punjab. So now, what is the place of supply? Not an import. It is not an import, because he is in Haryana itself and he is supplying to Denmark, not to India. Right? So it is not to be considered as an import, and place of supply can't be determined as per the GST law. Location of supplier. So location of supplier USA. The supplier is in USA and the goods were also in USA. Okay, and he is supplying goods to Nagpur, and now the importer is in Delhi. Supplying goods to Nagpur, importer is in Delhi. So now the place of supply is what? It is Delhi. So this is how you are supposed to determine the place of supply with respect to import of goods. Next, moving further, domestic transactions in services. Domestic transactions in services. So place of supply of services, where location of supplier of service and the location of the recipient of services is in India. That means place of supply of services where location of the supplier of service and location of the recipient. That means both the supplier and the receiver of the service, if they are in India, that is called the domestic transaction in services. As per section 12 of IGST Act 2017, when the location of the supplier of services and the location of the recipient of services is in India, the place of supply of services is governed by general provision, that is section 12 subsection 2. The general provisions are applicable only if the supply of services does not fall in any one of the specific cases provided under section 12. Okay, so what are that specific provisions given under section 12? In that first one, when the recipient is in registered person, when the recipient is registered person, in case the recipient is registered person, the location of such registered person shall be the place of supply. Yes, if the recipient is a registered person, the place of the recipient will be the place of supply. For example, A supplies services to B, who is a registered person. In this case, the place of supply will be the location of such registered person. Example, the location of B. Okay, so A supplies services to B, who is a registered person. That means B is a registered person. Now what is the place of supply? The place of supply is location of Mr. B, because Mr. B is the registered person. When the recipient is a registered person, the location will be the location of registered person. Next, scenario B. Okay, when the recipient is unregistered person. When the recipient is unregistered person. If the recipient is registered person, the location of the recipient will be the place of supply. In case if he is an unregistered person, how we will treat? In case the recipient is an unregistered person, the place of supply still be the location of the recipient if the addresses of recipient exists on record. This means the supplier has taken the address and other details of the recipient at the time of supply of services. Yes, even though he is not a registered dealer, even though the recipient is not a registered dealer, the place of the recipient will be considered as the place of supply by looking at the address details given by the recipient. However, in the case the address of recipient does not exist on the record, then place of supply of services would be the location of the supplier. That means the place of supply of services, to which place is supplied the services, that place will be considered as the place of supply of services. Example, A of Delhi supplies services to B of Pune. So A is in Delhi, B is in Pune. B is not a registered dealer, B is not a registered person, and A does not have any address of B in this records. Next, here the place of supply will be location of supplier. Example, Delhi, the location of Mr. A. So now the location of the service supplier will be the place of supply. So from where he is supplying? He is supplying from Delhi. So the location of Mr. A, that is Delhi, will be the place of supply. So this is how we are going to determine the place of supply with respect to goods, and the place of supply with respect to services, and the place of supply with respect to interstate, intrastate, and also with respect to import of goods and export of goods, and also with respect to services. So with this, I am going to wind up this session. I will come up with new topics in the upcoming sessions. Until then, thank you all. Have a nice day. Namaste.